If you remember, this was talked about quite a bit before Chauvin's trial because his attorneys wanted Chauvin's third-degree murder charge thrown out because of this pending review in Noor's case happening today in the state Supreme Court. It all comes down to the term depraved mind. As you know, Noor was convicted of shooting and killing Justine Ruszczyk-Damond in 2017. He was convicted of second-degree manslaughter and third-degree murder. But Noor's attorneys argue the prosecution did not adequately establish Noor's depraved mind element that's necessary for a third-degree murder conviction. That depraved mind term has been interpreted in different ways. Noor's team argued when focused on a particular person, it cannot be applied. But prosecutors have said that when Noor fired at Ruszczyk-Damond, he essentially fired at a silhouette. And since he fired across his partner's lap and with a bicyclist nearby, that is without regard for human life. Here's a Mitchell Hamlin law professor about what the essential disagreement is here.
There's this long-standing dispute about third-degree murder about whether it applies when you only place one person at risk or whether you have to place a lot of people at risk for it to count as third-degree murder.
Noor was sentenced to 12.5 years in prison, but that would be dramatically reduced without this third-degree murder conviction. The court is set to review this case at 9 o'clock this morning. It will be done virtually.
All right, Jen, thanks for keeping us up to date on that. Jennifer Austin reporting live this morning.
And make sure to stick with us all.